good Tuesday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. Hopefully, want to say fantastic Tuesday. I am your meteorologist, Jess Peterson, and let's go and talk about the weather for your Tuesday evening going into your future. First off, if you have not already hit the like button or the subscribe button yet, make sure you're going to do so. Hit the share button as well. Share with all the people that you know. Because we are trying to get to 600 subscribers. Trying to get to 600 subscribers. We're at 536. 64. Yeah, 64 subscribers away from our goal. And then we are also 14 away from our little milestone of 550, which is the halfway mark to 600. But we're gonna be talking about some stuff tonight. Talking about the weather, obviously, through tonight, through the future as well. And we're going to just be talking about also the cool down that we might be getting tomorrow as well. We're also going to be talking about, if I have it right here we go, patchy fog, obviously, tonight, and then probably for a lot of nights. And then also, we're going to be talking about how it's actually going to warm right back up by the time we get into the weekend, though. Just typical summer patterns go on. But let's go on now and talk with the record audience for the people who can unfortunately not make it tonight. Good Tuesday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. Hopefully, you want to have a fantastic Tuesday. I am your meteorologist, Jess Peterson. Let's go and talk about the weather for your Tuesday evening going into the future. Looking at your radar right now, you do have some rainfall going on all the way from like Gaffney, going on over here to like northern Greenville, Travelers Rest. Getting that rainfall. Arlington getting some rainfall right now as we speak. Same thing with Beaufort. And then also over here, just to the west of Winsboro, just to the north of Prosperity and Newberry, South Carolina right now as we speak. If we go in and see what's going on throughout the entire U.S., we do have some rainfall going on over here inside of Minnesota as well as Wisconsin and the UP of Michigan. Florida's getting some rainfall as well as at Alabama. Kentucky also getting some rainfall going into Illinois and Indiana. Missouri getting some rainfall, and then even some rainfall in South Dakota and Nebraska. But this rainfall in South Dakota and Nebraska is causing some wind damage for sure. 60 miles per hour going through this line right now. We also do have some rainfall going on in Montana, Wyoming, and the Four Corners region as well. If we go into cloud cover, you can see that cloud cover right now really going through the upstate of South Carolina and maybe even through going towards like the PD region near Florence, going up there towards Bennettsville, and Lancaster, South Carolina is included in there as well. But look at the low country, pretty much clear throughout that region. Yes, there are a couple of clouds I can see. They're very light and dense. Or if there's a shower going on, like we were just talking about on Dunn, and also over there inside near, I believe near Beaufort. So yes, there's cloud cover over there, but everyone else seems to be nice and clear right now. Even parts of the Midlands as well looks clear. If we go in and look at what's going on throughout the future for cloud cover, you can see, though, that cloud cover for sure will kind of just be circling around the middle portion of the state as we move through. This is tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock when my forecast update comes out. You can see that cloud cover just circling around the center of the state. The edges of the state receiving cloud cover, but the center remaining a little bit more clear. But by the time we get to around like tomorrow afternoon and evening, that cloud cover will still be kind of scattered, but will start taking over more of the middle part of South Carolina. But that's just what the models are saying now. If we go into current temperatures, 80 in Columbia as well as 80 in Orangeburg, 80 in Sumter as well as 80 in Florence, 80 in Conway as well as 80 in Murrells Inlet and Georgetown, 81 in Myrtle Beach and North Myrtle Beach, 80 in Somerville as well as 81 in Aiken. We also do have 81 in Greenwood and Lawrence, 78 in Greenville as well as 81 in Spartanburg, 81 in Charleston as well as even 81 in Gaffney and 80 in York. Going into your low temperatures for tonight, 73 in Greenville as well as 72 in Rock Hill, 74 in Columbia as well as 74 in Orangeburg, 74 in Walterboro as well as 78 in Charleston, 75 in Moncks Corner as well as 76 in Georgetown, 79 in Myrtle Beach, and 78 in Hilton Island. Going into your rainfall, you can see a good amount of rainfall is possible. 130 inches to 1/2 of an inch for like Moncks Corner, going into Sumter, Orangeburg, Barnwell, Camden, Winsboro is included, Lawrence is included as well, and then maybe even 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch for Greenwood going into Aiken, and Kingstree going into Dillon and Cheraw. and then maybe even a quarter of an inch to a half an inch for places like Anderson going into Greenville and Spartanburg as well. And you have some other areas that will go from half an inch to an inch, or maybe even an inch and a half. But those regions will mainly be isolated once you get past that inch region, around an inch to maybe even an inch and a half. That's going to be in a couple of isolated spots as we move through 8 p.m. tonight and 8 p.m. tomorrow. And that will mainly be in the upstate of South Carolina, most likely. Into the SBC outlook we go. You can see that we do have a chance for some thunderstorms still as we move through tonight. Here's the new one right here that just came out a couple of minutes ago, most likely. You can see that thunderstorms are still possible for like Columbia, Aiken, Rock Hill, Greenville, Spartanburg, so pretty much the entire upstate and most of the Midlands, and the Western PD region. Now, this does not mean that this region will 100% receive thunderstorms, just mean that the ingredients are in place for some thunderstorms to take place, and if the convection gets firing, the showers get going, then for sure thunderstorms will still potentially be an issue as we go through. Now, if we go in and check out if there's any thunderstorms going on throughout the state right now, from what I'm looking at right now on my radar, I'm not seeing any thunder right now that's being reported right now, but maybe if they continue or some more showers start to move throughout, maybe potentially a thunderstorm, but for right now, it's not looking like any thunderstorms are going through this area right now. Tomorrow, the entire state is covered again with a thunderstorm risk as we move through tomorrow, so everyone will have a chance for a thunderstorm. Same thing for Thursday as well. So let's go and talk about excessive rainfall. So we're going to look at it here. This goes all the way into, again, tonight going into tomorrow morning. You can see that there is supposed to be something that is there. There it goes right there. Again, a slight risk of excessive rainfall or some scattered flash flooding is in the question as we move through tonight into tomorrow morning. Again, just really if those showers and thunderstorms get going. But you can see that it is there, and it updates soon. But for right now, we're still going to say that this area still has a chance for some scattered flash flooding. And if you're in the green, that's minor flooding or isolated flash flooding as we move from tonight into tomorrow morning. Now, we'll look at the models and see what they say. And see if they agree with these areas or not. As you go into tomorrow, there is no excessive rainfall that is expected there. As you go into day 3, Thursday, going into Friday, no excessive rainfall there. On Friday, though, you do have a marginal risk, which is isolated flash flooding or some minor flooding in like Walhalla, South Carolina, going just to the west of Pickens as well. And then as you go into day 5, which is Saturday, going into Sunday, again, just some more minor flooding going on that's potentially possible from Greenville going over to Spartanburg and Rock Hill, going up over here to Dillon, Mullins, and Loris, South Carolina. So that's it in terms of excessive rainfall. Let's go on now and look at the models. So starting off here at 9 o'clock p.m., this was, supposed to be what the radar was supposed to look like at 9 p.m. And if you go on and push this forward, you can still see by 12 o'clock in the morning. This is what I was talking about. If these showers are still going on, there is a chance, obviously with the thunderstorm risk there, that thunderstorms could potentially form. But for right now, it's looking like that there is still going to be some shower activity that goes on even past 12 o'clock in the morning. Even by the time you get to around 3 to 4 a.m., shower activity could still be going on. And by the time you get to around 3 to 4 a.m., there may be some shower activity that's going to try and move in towards the coastal region and maybe even into like the inland low country and the inland Grand Strand region as well by the time you get to around 4 or 5 a.m., going all the way into around 7 o'clock in the morning when my morning forecast update comes out. That will still be going on. And even by the time you get to around, obviously, the afternoon hours of around 12 to 1 p.m., obviously, that's when the majority of the showers and thunderstorms really start to form. By that 1 to 2 p.m. time frame, there will still be showers and thunderstorms going on. So there's a potential that we could potentially, at least certain parts of the state, might be receiving some shower activity pretty much all throughout the night going into tomorrow as well, like tomorrow morning going into tomorrow afternoon, obviously. As you go even further into the future, you can see we get to around 4 or 5 p.m., still have stuff going on, and by the time you get to around 8 to 9 p.m., that's really when some of that shower activity can start to calm down a lot more. And then continuing forward even more to midnight on July 17th, still shower activity going on in the upstate. And then by 5 a.m., still going on. And then it'll dissipate by the time you get to around 6, 7 a.m. And then it stays actually pretty dry by the time you get to around 7 a.m. on Thursday, going all the way through until finally get to the afternoon hours and the thunderstorms start to pop up. So a lot going on. So pretty much to summarize it, we can see showers going on throughout the state pretty much for the majority of the night tonight going into tomorrow, obviously. And then even going past midnight tomorrow night going into the early morning hours on Thursday. But then once we get to like the 7 a.m. time frame on Thursday, moving all the way through the rest of the morning, it could actually be relatively dry. So that's pretty much what I gained from that. As you go into the GFS, let's go on and look at the long-term future. As you go on and push this forward right here, you see that the active weather continues as we go all the way, like this is July 22nd at 8 p.m. Still active rainfall. Low pressure that actually formed. So again, maybe watching the tropics moment right here. This is obviously this is not 10 days out. This is around like 8 to 9 days out. But it shows some moisture going on, and it shows a low pressure over there and getting close to South Carolina by around July 25th. But again, that's 200 hours out. That will most likely change. But just shows a bunch of moisture moving in. And then by the time you get to around like July the 28th, it's just too far to say exactly what's going to happen. But potentially a storm system that can move through as we go into late July. But again, that's over 300 hours out. So that's it in terms of our long-term future. Let's go on now, and speaking of the tropics, talk about the tropics, where we do have an area right here near Florida, obviously, that we were watching for. And you can see here that we do have this 40% chance of formation. It says right here, satellite and radar data indicate that the low-pressure area moving across the northern Florida peninsula continues to produce disorganized shower and thunderstorm activity, mainly to the south and southwest of its center. The system is forecast to move west, and it could emerge over the far northeastern and north central Gulf, possibly approaching the coast of Louisiana on Thursday. Environmental conditions over the Gulf appear generally favorable for additional development, and a tropical depression could form if the system moves far enough offshore over the next couple of days. Regardless of development, heavy rainfall, it could produce localized flash flooding over portions of Florida through Wednesday. Heavy rainfall could also cause flash flooding for portions of the north central Gulf Coast beginning late Wednesday and continuing through Friday. So in terms of probabilities, it has a 40% chance to become a tropical depression through the next 48 hours and a 40% chance through the next 7 days. So again, this most likely will not have any effect on South Carolina at all. In fact, some people are thinking that it might be a little bit stronger than they might be saying it here. Some people think that it is a tropical depression already, while obviously here that they still do not think that it is a tropical depression yet. So we'll see what happens here. But this could upgrade a lot more by the time we get to tomorrow morning, though. And obviously, we'll talk about it tomorrow evening because I record these the night before. And the updates obviously come out at 8 o'clock in the morning. And since there's no threat to South Carolina with this, most likely, honestly, there's no reason for me to come on and do like any sort of 8 a.m. update on the tropics or anything like that. But that's it for the tropics there. Let's go and look at the crazy score. We're at a 39 for tonight. Why are we at a 39 for tonight, you may be asking. Obviously, for patchy fog and low stratus clouds may develop late, especially where rain occurred earlier. Very humid with tropical moisture, with values near 2.2 inches still in place, even though it's not going to be widespread. It's still going to be pretty high. Mild overnight lows, we talked about that, and then isolated coastal showers are possible before sunrise due to onshore flow, which we did talk about that once we were talking about our near-term future, where we said that showers will be moving into the coastal regions and even the inland low country and Grand Strand region by the time you get to around tomorrow morning before sunrise in 8 a.m. But that's it for our crazy score. Let's go on now, because I believe we are done with our actual main forecast for South Carolina. Let's go and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. Starting off first, hold on, let me get this right here. With Mr. Chris, who says, good evening, everyone from Moncks Quarter. No nasty weather here today. Hope everyone is doing well this Tuesday evening. How was your day? My day was great. Thank you for asking. Mr. Anthony says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. My name is Hello J. Not a really bad day, just in spite of the heat. It rained early in the morning, and the sun came out and dried up the water so quick. My grass grew a half of an inch. So thanks so much for that weather day summary over there for where you are. Sad says, good evening, just so I trust all is well. It was a beautiful day here in Central Texas. That's a fantastic thing to hear. Trail says, greetings, everyone. I am late coming in. Fell asleep working outside today. Heat sleep. I need a beach day soon. It is almost my birthday. Well, make sure that you go on and leave that inside the chat when it is. When the birthday comes, so that we can go on and give you a round of applause for that. But that's it for the chat today. I don't see anything else. So let's go on and talk about the 3 locations outside of South Carolina, that being San Antonio, Raleigh, and Philadelphia. And then we'll come back and check out the chat, see what we have. Make sure that if you have not hit the like button, by the way, that you go on and do so. We've had only 7 likes, but 17 people have tuned in, meaning that 10 people came in and did not hit the like button at all. Make sure that if you're part of that 10, that you go on and hit the like button right now. But talking about the 3 locations outside of South Carolina, that being, again, San Antonio, Raleigh, and Philadelphia. Starting off with San Antonio first. Low temperatures tonight at 76, and then high temperatures tomorrow at 97. Low temperatures tomorrow night at 73, and there is a slight chance of thunderstorms tonight. No precipitation is expected at all tomorrow. In terms of severe weather, there is no severe weather that is expected for tonight. And same thing as we go through tomorrow and Thursday as well, and especially as we move through the next 8 days. For now, no severe weather is expected. Excessive rainfall. You do not have any excessive rainfall for tonight. And just as you move through the next 5 days, there's just no threat for any sort of excessive rainfall at all. Talking about Raleigh next. Low temperatures tonight 74, high temperature tomorrow 91, and low temperatures tomorrow night 76. No precipitation is expected tonight, and then a chance of thunderstorms tomorrow and tomorrow night as well. There is a chance for some flooding tonight, some minor flooding or maybe even some isolated flash flooding by the time we get through again tonight into tomorrow. But after that, on Saturday as well, you could potentially have that risk as well for some minor flooding. And then severe weather. There is right now, which I did just close that out by accident, no severe weather that is expected either. And then Philadelphia being the last one, low temperatures tonight 75, high temperatures tomorrow 89, and low temperatures tomorrow night 76. No precipitation is expected tonight, but thunderstorms are likely tomorrow and tomorrow night as well. For excessive rainfall, you do have a chance for some minor flooding on Wednesday, and maybe even Friday as well. Severe weather, maybe some severe weather or some minor storms on Thursday, some minor severe storms on Thursday as a marginal risk is in effect. So some isolated severe storms is possible on Thursday. So, pretty active stuff going on for those regions. What's going on throughout the entire U.S., just weather news-wise. Widespread showers and thunderstorms, some severe, may produce heavy downpours and flash flooding across much of the eastern and central U.S. Dangerous heat will continue in the Pacific Northwest and expand across portions of the east. Deep tropical moisture and associated thunderstorms will bring heavy rainfall and localized flash flooding to parts of Florida and the central Gulf Coast. We're also going to have some heavy heat or some heat for places like Louisiana going into Missouri, Arkansas, and Alabama as well. Nevada is going to be pretty hot. California, Oregon, and even Washington is going to be hot as we move through, especially like in the Seattle area, Tacoma area, and Olympia area, like for Washington as well. And then in terms of just, any sort of really bad severe weather that could potentially be occurring, really the only one was today, as there was an enhanced risk in Nebraska. And then for excessive rainfall, there actually is a moderate risk of excessive rainfall. That's on Friday, which, that's pretty far out. It's for Louisiana again, like Alexandria, Lake Charles, Lafayette, Baton Rouge, all those places inside Louisiana all have a moderate risk of excessive rainfall. Again, that is some flash flooding that is likely. Flash flooding is likely throughout those regions as we move through. And again, the fact that it is, the fact that it is 4 days out shows how confident they are as that tropical moisture that we were just watching for moves its way up toward Louisiana as well. So that's pretty much it. Let me check out the chat one more time. Mr. Chris says make sure that you go and hit the like button and the subscribe button as well. So again, if you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button yet, make sure you go and do so. We're at 536 subscribers, trying to get to 600. We are 14 away from 550. That's the halfway mark to 600, and we are 64 away from our main goal of 600 subscribers. Top fans for tonight was just Mr. Chris and Trail Tide for first, and then Mr. Anthony second, and my Nana at third. So that's it. Hopefully everyone had a fantastic rest of your Tuesday evening, and I will be back tomorrow morning with your Wednesday forecast update. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday.